Kia ora, Taurus. Welcome. This is your reading for you, Taurus, for this new moon in your sign. Interesting times. It feels like things have loosened up a little bit. So let's see what is the storyline for you today. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. As usual, it's a bit grainy today, the lighting, so bear with. So let's get your cards out. We do go through and clarify on this channel always. So thanks for joining me today on this beautiful new moon in Taurus. Let's get a few cards out. Well, new moon in Taurus. We do have the moon entering. We'll just get a few here. And one more card for Taurus. Look, it might be a time where we're changing things up a wee bit, Taurus. You know, I mean, on a collective level, I think there's a feeling generally, or what I see anyway, is, you know, there's been a period, for some very difficult period of time, where there's been a requirement to do some work. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily just work in the literal sense, work on thyself, work with others, work, just general work. And it's been going on for a while. And I think we can cruise through into the next few months, ideally, Taurus, if we've done that work. Is not to suggest it's all about rewards or punishments, but that we can move on through a little bit more freely, easily, all of that kind of thing. And I'll just get one more. We've got three here, one more. Yeah. So we'll start out, you know, there's always, this is the darkest period of the moon, and we get the moon card coming up here for you. Look, we walk through that dark valley. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time after, where we get some sort of enlightenment, some kind of idea about what has been or is going on in our life. We get more information here when we go through and clarify. We then have the Tower, which is about wonderful breaking down of the old to rebuild anew, whether that's a choice that we've made, whether it's sort of circumstance has made our choices for us, as it were. So, you know, in this Tower card, which I love, this particular Tower, we do get infused, shot with the arrow of new, clear thought and some extra knowledge that maybe we weren't seeing. You know, the moon here suggests a level of possible insight over the next few weeks into some things that have just been hidden, whether that's you know, to do with people around you, whether it's just things have been hidden to you in your own mind, and then suddenly there's a epiphany moment. We then have the Hierophant. I always feel that the Hierophant often obviously holds a key, has the hand gesture of understanding, of a penny having dropped. But it speaks to me here of a level of mentorship, secret information that is made clear and illuminated for you, whatever that happens to be. Whether it's just about your own, as I say, mental process, or something to do with the people, the circumstances and situations that you've been involved in over these recent times. We've then got the wonderful clarity on an internal level, on an intuitive level. So possibly, Taurus, you're feeling more kind of in tune. You're relying on not only your five senses, but your other senses as well at this time. So that's actually very positive. Let's just clarify the moon for Taurus. Go through. We've got Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairies, and then we've maybe pull an animal card at the end for you, Taurus. So the moon, please, for Taurus. The moon, please. I'll just keep shuffling. When we're looking at this moon, something surprising, or is it something that's welcomed? We've got the King of Wands, a fiery king. It is all about the will here. And you could always ask, what is a king? Well, a king ideally is benevolent, supported by others, in that position. I say in that position because he is supported by others, but that's not always the case, is it? And why I get that, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, there might be some Taurians out there that feel maybe they're walking through that dark valley, you know, that the new moon is a dark time. And questioning where their support lies, questioning who their support is, in fact. So let's just see. But there is a reveal. The Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. Is this a couple, Taurus? Is this a couple scenario? Let's look at the Tower for Taurus. Because what this couple is, they're both looking in different directions here. I do sort of feel that relationship aspect here. And the cards have been quite stubborn. Look, I mean, we're looking at the Tower. We get the Tower. You know, has there been a time for some Taurians out there where you're getting a lot of information coming to you and as an individual entity, human? But is there an area in your life where there's not a lot of communicado going on and something's altering to the point where it does change quite dramatically? This might be a choice, as I said before, but it might be something that is just happening in the natural balance of things, you know, the natural state of things. Can we have one more card for the two Towers? We've got two Towers. The two Towers. Foundations. We have the 10 of Discs. Gosh, it's interesting, Taurus. It's an interesting selection of cards here. I do see it as a relationship. I mean, I can't go off on 10 different narratives. That's what I feel here. And that Tower coming up twice. Then we have the 10 of Discs. Look, there's a lot of family stuff here. There's a lot of family business history, a lot of reviewing of it, maybe shifting of loyalties, and that is why the Tower is here. There's a necessity to or for some Taurians, there's been a questioning of loyalties and values, of course. Hierophant. This is very spiritual information. Hierophant. What has up to this point been hidden or unknown? There's a level of, if you have someone in your life that is a mentor, that is someone that you talk to, Taurus, someone you is a confidant. What's the word for that? Not a confidant. I can't think of it right now, but so we're looking at the Hierophant. We've got the Star Healing card. There's a connection being made here. There's a great support if you were questioning that you're not getting the support from the area that you would expect it from or assume that it would come from. You're getting it from someone else or somewhere else, a guide, a mentor. And there's a natural process here that it is in your growth and in your learning and in your own personal evolution. That is whatever's going on in your life personally. This is about your own personal evolution. Two of Swords. Making a decision, because twos are all about decisions. That's really, to put it, I'd always just put it simply, making a decision. It's not crucial. We have a new moon being pierced by a small dagger of truth in the Thoth deck with the Two of Swords, and it is, remember, called peace. That it is a decision based on your gut, on your intuition, however you see that, your connection with the divine, how we see this in the star. You get reminded of this. And so you can make a decision based on your intuitive capabilities because you trust them. There might be a period of silent retreat, whether that's for an hour or two or, you go on a Vipassana retreat, whatever. There's a period of respite. This gives you a level of objectivity as well, because remember, you're making a decision based on your intuition, not what you're seeing. We then have the Prince of Swords. In the Morgan Greer, the Prince of Swords is a learner, learning a learner's mind. And it's learning in the realms of learning about your own personal power, learning about how other people wield their power, use their personal power, and how groups do, and how we all do when we get together, in the big cauldron of life. We need to understand that because we do things often where we're losing a lot of that. And it's not like being power hungry, it's about your energetics and making sure that you do a lot of self-care and you do step back, rest, get all of that good stuff when you need it. Because you're the only one that can do that for you. You can't rely on other people to do that for you. It doesn't work like that, So, interesting, the dynamics of power. We see how we wield it ourselves within our own world. It can be very tricky, can't it? Let's get a Brian Froud. I'll just take this off to make my eyes hurt. Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy. We've got the Magician just popping out there and I wasn't concentrating on anything. Can we just have a couple of cards for Taurus in this reading, Pixie and Fairies? For a little bit of an extra glimmer. It feels like a relationship. It feels like there's an exposure of sorts or a revealing in either a relationship or just in yourself personally on a personal you level. You level. A new level, a you level. We're looking at rejigging our basic foundations. We might be just starting, we might have just shared a whole lot of stuff and we're starting on a new tangent. And it feels good. We feel connected to whatever it is that you understand to be your higher self. We feel very connected to the cosmos, to the great source of life itself. And so we start to make decisions not just on what we see, but what we feel. And more than what we feel, we get we get intuitive hits here, Taurus, and you need R&R in order to sometimes process those. Then now, all right, so Brian Froud, we have Losguna, pulling ourselves out of a mud, really, and moving. Like, no, Taurus says, I'm not going anywhere. I want to stay here. We're moving. We're rediscovering places, faces that we've known before. And we rediscover them with a large level of joy, freshness, newness. It's good stuff. With that, we have you, really. A beautiful shining light. The bright mother, Taurus. The bright mother. It does look to be a little bit of, how would you say, you know, it's been a little bit, there's a bit of a self-reflection going on here. Can we just get an animal that pretty much sums up Taurus at this time? Wow. You're protecting. Look, how can I say it in very quickly, that somewhere within this story, you have discovered new boundaries that you've laid for yourself, and you are protecting those before you launch out into whatever this new thing is, beyond decisions based on your intuition, beyond feeling a very strong connection at the moment with the natural world, with source force and all of that. There's a period where you take good care in that, whether it's a new tangent, whatever it is, that you set forth as you mean to go on at this point, heading into and through the rest of the year. We've got the cosmic egg, you know, wrapped around the world. You're protecting that what is your world, because you've got a whole new, possibly, set of values. Did I hold that up the wrong way? A whole new set of possibly values, directives, desires, and you want to go with it. So on that note, Taurus, that's your reading for this new moon in your sign. Check out any other readings on this channel. And thanks for joining me. I do appreciate all your likes and shares and subscribes. So thank you very much. Ka kite, bye.